The demand for the GTA suburbs are through the roof. Stay tuned to find out what this means exactly for you. Promise you, it'll be worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. So glad you could join me here today. Every week on Prime Properties TV, we take a closer look at the Toronto real estate topics and updates that matter the most to you. Now, the demand for GTA suburban homes continues to be crazy right through the fall months, and it looks like we're going to continue seeing this right through the winter months as well. So what does this mean for you in the coming months as a buyer or as a seller? I'll be breaking it all down for you today. Now, if you enjoy topics like this, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the Prime Properties channel. The button to subscribe will be somewhere here on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So, what does it mean that the demand is so high? If you said because demand is so high, and with high demand, it drives up prices, then you nailed it, right? Demand drives prices, and that's why when there's less and less properties to buy, as more and more people try to buy it, prices go up. And that's what we saw with the condos before COVID, but now we're seeing this for the freehold homes in the 905 area, or even the further 905. The more people who want to buy, the more competition there is, the more likely these people are going to bid up the price, hence multiple offers in these areas. So as a buyer, what should you do? Or as a seller, how's this going to impact your decision to sell? Before I break it all down for you, let me tell you the trends that I'm seeing right now. Everybody I'm talking to is leaving the downtown core, and it's causing like a huge spillover effect into the adjacent cities. It's almost like the great migration from condos to suburban living like we saw in 2014, which is now obviously a direct result of the pandemic as people are feeling trapped in the box in the sky that they have originally. This means that freehold homes such as towns, semis, and detaches in the suburbs have been increasing in demand, especially those that are under $1 million. This is also true for rental properties in the suburbs that are freehold as well. We're seeing multiple offers on freehold property for leases in the burbs right now. So if you're going out east, you're going to see a demand in Scarborough. Scarborough is now spilling over into Ajax and Whitby. Ajax and Whitby people are spilling over into Oshawa and Clarington and Oshawa people are spilling over even further east. Over on the west side, Mississauga is spilling into Burlington and Oakville. Burlington and Oakville is spilling into Hamilton and Milton. And Milton and Hamilton is spilling into Brantford. In the north, we're seeing Richmond Hill spill over into Aurora and Newmarket, which is spilling into Gwillimbury. And then as far north as Barrie, and Barrie spilling into Aurelia. You kind of get the point, right? Like, this means that whenever you sold your home originally, you're now taking that capital and moving it a little bit further to get a larger home so that you have more space for, whatever space it is, the reasons you need it for, okay, whatever it is, you do you, right? But my point here is that the money is coming from the sale of that property as it's all spilling over. So when there's a demand for the property you have, because people that are in more expensive properties are looking for your property, you're now selling your property to go into a bigger property in a further location, right? So for instance, if you're in that $1 million Scarborough home and you're going to Ajax, you're going to get a bigger $1 million home in Ajax. And that's where the money is coming from. And that's what I mean by the spillover effect, okay? Let me know in the comment section below if you've moved since the pandemic, or whether you're a buyer or seller, or even both, because you probably sold and bought something. Or if you're currently pondering a move like this, let me know in the comment section below what's going on, okay? So as a buyer, where you want to live until the pandemic is over is completely up to you. But I don't see prices in the suburbs coming down anytime soon, because people continue to want more and more space as, we're in like maybe a second lockdown. The mass exodus from downtown core is happening, and the media has even coined the kind of further suburbs the Exurbs, right? So, but let's say that, by the end of 2020 a vaccine comes up, or sometime in 2022, that's still a solid 1 to 2 years of price continuing to grow this way until the demand picks up back in Toronto core again. And in an episode that I previously released, I mentioned that probably we'll see a little bit of pickup in like 6 to 18 months for recovery at best. So if you missed the episode, there's a link to the little I button in the top right corner right now on the screen. Now, this spillover effect was already happening back in 2015, but mainly for investors, because we were chasing after cash flow and we couldn't make properties pay for themselves or cash flow positive in like the GTA era, so we kept going further and further. We went so far as out to like St. Catharines or even Niagara or Belleville, and now we're seeing that exact same thing in 2020, but instead of chasing cash flow, people are chasing space, but instead of just investors, it's everybody because of the pandemic. So here's where we go back to the question. Should you buy a freehold property right now? And the answer is yes, if you need the space for the next year or two, right? If you don't need the space, then why invest into a freehold market at the time when it's on fire and continuing to climb in prices, right? You're not trying to, ride up the wave for the next year or two. It's not that consistent. It's kind of unstable, or we just don't know. We don't have any predictions of when this pandemic is going to go over and how it's going to affect the market afterwards, right? Unless you're a clever investor and want to start house hacking by renting a portion of your house out, then it makes sense to upgrade into a bigger house and further away, because it allows you to house hack. If you want to learn more about how to house hack, again, little icon in the eye in the top right corner, you can check that out right there. So if you're on the other side of the fence and you're a seller, should you sell? If you're an end user and you're looking to move further, whether you're currently looking for more space or any other personal reasons, yeah, then sell. You need to do it because you need the space for whatever the reason is, right? But if that's the case, then you're basically upgrading your house by moving further away. As long as that fits into what you need in your current situation right now, makes sense. Alternatively, you could buy the same size property further away and take advantage of this price increase in your area and then take some of those proceeds and invest into a rental property afterwards. But still get the same house, just further. You can definitely do that as well. Now, if you're an investor and you're holding on to some properties and you think you want to sell, my question to you is this. If you sell and cash out, where are you putting your money in this environment with inflation happening? Where? If you don't have a good answer, then don't sell your property. It makes no sense in this scenario. This always goes back to my monopoly analogy I have about investing. You don't sell your little green houses unless it's to upgrade to a red hotel. So stop listening to people around you who don't understand how to invest, or that realtor who's in your ear because they just want a transaction from you. If you have nowhere to put your money, why are you selling? Are we going to continue seeing this trend in the coming years? Probably at least for a year or two until the vaccine comes out, right? Because I mentioned earlier, until that vaccine is ready, I feel like we'll just be seesawing between different phases of COVID, whether it's lockdown or kind of not lockdown. And as the virus is kind of going to be in this like cyclical cycle back and forth until it's fully eradicated or we have herd immunity. So until life is somewhat back to normal, I don't think the real estate market is going to go back to normal like it was in the COVID-19 days. So make sure you plan your move accordingly with this information I've provided you today in this episode. While it's important to make sure your real estate purchase is a good investment, one of the things I've been finding myself recently telling a lot of my clients recently is that you can't always optimize for investment because sometimes your personal reason for why you need to make a move supersedes good investment ideas, right? Or like investment purchases. At the same point, you need to make the right lifestyle choice for you and your family. That should take precedent over the investment. So if you need more space, go get more space. If this analysis didn't make any sense to you and you still have more questions or are still confused about what the right move is for you personally, I'll put my contacts here. You can feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to give you a little bit of guidance. Remember, I can only give you guidance on options and investment strategies. What you ultimately want for you and your family, you have to tell me. I can't tell you what you want for your family. So hopefully this helps you kind of give you an idea of what the lay of the land is in the 905 Freehold section, okay? Until next time, your move, your future. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one? Oh, you know what? This one's good too. Ooh, this one's really good. You know what? Just watch them both.